Is your small business growing? That's the question we address right here on the Grow Your Biz Show. It's where we interview strategic entrepreneurs who inform and inspire you on your solopreneur or small company journey. Thanks for joining us on this episode of the Grow Your Biz Show. Hello and welcome to episode number 87 of the Grow Your Biz Show. I'm your host, Paul Madsen, and the founder of GrowMedia.com. GrowMedia.com helps small business owners to tell their unique business story on social media. Today's guest is Jeana Goosmann of the Goosmann Law Firm based in Sioux City, Iowa, with offices in Omaha, Nebraska, and Sioux Falls, South Dakota. We're going to learn all about Jeana's story right after thanking our sponsor. ActionCoachOmaha.com is the global leader in business coaching for small businesses and businesses of all sizes. If you need to clarify your business and if you need to have some accountability in your business, contact Jim Barger at ActionCoachOmaha.com. Welcome back. Our guest today is Jeana Goosmann of the Goosmann Law Firm. Jeana, welcome to Omaha.
Thank you.
Good to have you on set, on hand today.
Good to be on your show.
Well, I'm so glad you're here. We had to juggle a few things to make it happen, but it's all worthwhile, right?
It's all worth it.
It's all worthwhile. Hey, Jeana, we're going to learn all about your whole story here, but I'm going to just jump right in and just ask you, what business are you in?
We help business leaders win disputes, protect their wealth, and do deals so they can spend their time on what's worth it.
Wow, that's a lot to unpack there. You help them win disputes?
Yes.
Well, that's kind of obvious as a law firm. I guess that's what you do. What kinds of disputes, for instance?
A lot of different kinds of disputes. Anything to do with their business. Might be a contract that has gone wrong. Maybe it's a joint venture that they need to unwind. A business divorce with a business partner.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Those come up quite a bit.
Yeah.
And a real estate transaction that might have gone awry. Something that hasn't closed on time. You name it, we can help their business with those different disputes.
Lots of disputes out there, lots of conflict in the world, isn't there?
There's a lot of conflict in the world. Former employees that have taken their trade secrets.
Oh, yeah, okay.
All kinds of good stuff.
Are you business focused only, or do you do other kinds of law as well?
We're really focused on business leaders and being full service for those business leaders.
Awesome. Well, now the second part of your opening sentence there was you win disputes. What was the other one?
Protect their wealth.
Protect their wealth. Talk about that.
You bet. So we have a group within the Goosmann Law Firm called Trust Law Counsel, and they help people do estate planning and succession planning. And we create a lot of trust for folks that have businesses and in order to protect them long term and really accomplish their life goals.
Well, that's important. I was just at a family reunion, and one of my wife's uncle, long time in the farm credit world, and he knows literally hundreds of farmers as a result of that. And he was explaining to me something you don't usually think about from the road as you drive by a farm, succession planning. And he's become he's not an attorney, but he just helps people get through some of the initial process. And he was telling us about how it's important now that so many of the farmers are getting older, and what do? Does the younger family member want to be involved, or do they not want to be involved? And so you do those kind of things as well?
We do. We help people have those conversations with their business. So what is their long-term plan? Is it going to pass down to the next generation? Will they do an ESOP or have some sort of business sale to internal employees? How are they going to eventually exit their business?
Well, yeah, and that's important to know. And in fact, I have the sponsor of the show, Jim Barger, he often talks about starting with the end in mind. I mean, I know that's the famous book and all that, but it's really clear on non-farming businesses. I guess farming businesses, you keep growing crops, right? But where do you want your business to go? And so you'll talk with more than just farmers about things like that.
We do. We really focus with our clients on making sure that they have an estate plan that supports their business plan. And that needs to encompass both their family as well as what's going on within their business. And we help them have those bigger conversations and figure out what are their goals.
Yeah, well, sometimes it's not so much about law as psychology, right?
That's right. There's a big emotional component when you're the business leader, and that business is your blood, sweat, and tears for sure.
It's your baby, and it's tough to let go to give it to your other babies. What was the third trifecta of what you said in your opening pitch there?
Do deals. So since we work with businesses, we help them do all kinds of transactions and deals. If they have a big sale that they've made and there's going to be a contract associated with that, maybe they're doing a new building because they've grown, or if they are going to buy another company, we help them buy and sell businesses too.
Well, of course, it's a rocky road out there, and we all need legal counsel to do that. Are there any certain types of businesses that you specialize in helping people get through?
We really focus in the Midwest, and as a result, a lot of our businesses might have an ag component or a manufacturing component, but we work with financial institutions and banking, and we have a pretty broad base of businesses, but our main focus is on those businesses.
Okay, well, in Midwest, you got a wide variety of businesses too here in the Midwest. Well, great. Well, that's a good dissection of your. I just want to let you know I work with a lot of people on their pitches, and we all go to business networking things, and we all see customers out and about, and I think Jeana's pitch, if you go back and listen to it, is fantastic. Why? I mean, we're instructional here. Do you mind if I use you?
I don't mind at all.
Okay.
I love hearing about it.
Well, you did well, so I want to hype you up here. Her pitch. Some people hear the word pitch, Jeana, and they think, oh, that's a slick thing or whatever. But guess what? There's 700,000 podcasts out there, and there's millions of content hours, and there's millions and millions of emails. People are busy, aren't they?
They are busy.
And don't they want it? I mean, you're the queen of getting to the point, aren't you?
I am. We can get right to the heart of the issue.
Well, tell me how you evolved to get to that pitch. I can't move on to my other questions, so I get back and recognize this great pitch.
Well, I really focus first on who is it that we like to help. Okay. And that's also our role, is that we're the helper, right? So the client is the hero, and we are like their sidekick, and we are an extension of them, an extension of their team. And when we focused on who it is that we're focused on helping and that business leader, then we figured out, well, what can we really do to help them the most? And that's how we broke it into those 3 different categories.
Is this a retreat where you went off site and just whiteboarded everything to death, or what?
It's evolved over the last decade. It really has.
Yeah.
So it's kind of been refined and refined until we got to this point where we are now.
Well, and I find with my own, I started with some fancy one, and I sampled it to some people, and one millennial goes, "Well, that's a lot of words." Yeah, you got a failure, right, when they say that. And millennials, they're used to quick, soundbite this. And so that was helpful to learn that kind of thing.
And when we use too big of words as lawyers, people tune out. So if I were to start this out and say, we help people with litigation.
Oh, yeah.
That's an off-putting word.
Yeah, absolutely.
What in the world's litigation? And it's really just helping them win a dispute.
Well, I love the word dispute. You break it down. I had a dispute today before I left home, right?
Right. I'm a complex commercial litigator, but what in the world does that mean, right?
And people, it's just such some of the big social media people talk about the demand, the competition for attention. And the reason we're beating this drum here is because it's just so important to be able to get your point across in 10 or 15 seconds, isn't it? I mean, I had an example, for instance, a friend of mine, Jeff Quant, who's been on the show, he's a social media guy on Q Marketing, give him a plug. He talked, for a long time, he was helping, help do this, blah, 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 blah. And I felt like, well, I'm not quite sure what that means. And he's my friend, and I told him a couple times. And anyway, eventually he got it down to, he's an SEO guy, a search engine optimization person.
People can't find you.
Well, and that's what he got
to. Right?
Here's the beauty of his pitch. He says, I help people get found on a Google search. Beautiful.
Perfect.
Beautiful. I mean, who has time to listen more? That's the bottom line. That's what we want, right?
I hope people can find me on a Google search.
Well, I bet they can. So. Jeana Goosmann. Anyway, and so that's what he does, and that's just, as a result of your pitch, I think it will help people. We'll help that clarity, and we'll help people narrow it down. And I love when you say the client is the hero. The books I'm reading talk about that. I mean, how often do we think that we're important and more important? And I mean, how did that philosophy evolve for you?
It's really about helping them and setting them up for success. I think I'm passionate about my business because I get to help other people grow theirs and achieve their hopes and dreams. And there's a lot of fulfillment in helping other people live out their dreams. And when they have a big problem and a dispute and I'm their first phone call, that's just really satisfying.
Well, and that you stole my next question, so maybe we can move on to that instead of beat this drum, but I just love that the client is the hero. You know, we often think as entrepreneurs that the story is us. It's all about me, right? Well, no, it's about the customer, like you have pointed out so well.
The customer and the employees, right? My team members
your staff
too.
as well.
Absolutely.
Where was it? I just read something that said, you know, my employees are more important than my customers. I what? Well, because that owner was treating their employees as well as they possibly could, guess what happens? What happens?
They treat your customer as well as they possibly
And
can.
so instead of just you treating your customers well, all of a sudden you have how many attorneys and how many staff?
We have a total team of 60.
60 people treating your customers just like you want them to be treated. That's scale. That's scalable. That's awesome. Well, we kind of answered this already, but let's jump into it anyway. I always like to, Simon Sinek, the why question.
Absolutely.
Great author, great book. Why are you in the business you're in?
When we're able to help those other business leaders and really take care of their headaches for them, it allows them to focus on their business and what they're trying to accomplish in the first place. Most of the time, they're not trying to work with lawyers, right?
Right, no one wants to.
Nobody
right?
really wants to work, unless it's their own. Then they don't mind working with us so
Yeah.
much. But when we're there to help them and support them, when we are, you know, if there is a dispute and we take that headache away from them, then they can focus on the core of their business and keep it operating and keep it rolling. And they have that peace of mind when they've done their estate planning and they have that solid foundation and they've got some asset protection in place and those various components. So it really helps them grow and fulfill their ultimate mission, which it's a multiplying effect.
Okay, I got a little away from the why there. I mean, you got back to what you do. Why do you like doing that? Why is that important to you and your staff?
It's our passion in order to help them accomplish their goals.
Okay.
And make it worth it for them. And there's different ways you can do that. And it really might come in connecting them. And it's just very fulfilling when you're able to help them accomplish those goals.
Well, tell me more. I mean, are there some generic examples, not names, of course, but stories you can tell of the people you've helped along the way?
Absolutely. We just had a case that two of our attorneys tried, and they were being sued for $11 million, this small business. And it was a bet the company situation. If they would have received an $11 million judgment, that business would have gone out of business. And we got a 0 verdict for them.
Wow.
And as a result, now they can keep moving forward, and their team of 50 employees remains employed, and they can keep building upon that. So it's really gratifying when you deliver that win, and they're able to continue going forward. In that same case, we had a younger associate that's a trial attorney that was involved in the matter, and she got great experience through that and has grown tremendously in her capability and being able to serve other clients too.
Well, everybody wins.
Everybody wins.
And the enthusiasm goes high and the passion goes high.
It does.
How do you select people that have a similar passion to you on your staff?
That's a great question. So we're really focused on our culture and having a positive culture. We have our core values, and we really try and hire people that match those same core values. So we're focused on positivity, quality, culture, growth, and productivity. So when we are really clear with people that this is what the Goosmann Law Firm is all about, I think it helps us tell our story, and they know, is this the right place for me? Do I want to be part of a growing team that's really positive?
Sure.
And then we also use StrengthsFinder.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I love StrengthsFinder.
I do too.
What are your 5 strengths?
I'm a strategic competitor, activator, futuristic, relator.
Well, our number 1 is the same, strategic.
All right.
That's why we connect well here. That's good. Just as far as connections, you know, people say, how do you get these good guests, Paul? Well, guess what? LinkedIn is a wonderful resource, but read your LinkedIn, study your LinkedIn. What's on there? And I just read about Jeana's client development, and it wowed me. And I said, I'm going to reach out to her. And months later, here we are.
Here we are. I
So,
love LinkedIn too. It's such a great networking tool for business.
It really, if you use it. I mean, some people put a profile out there and it's like, it's there. Well, you got to do something with it, don't you?
Got to post articles and comment on things.
And video clips.
And video clips.
From shows like this.
Absolutely.
Wow, woohoo. Awesome. Well, the tools are great. The last big question, Jeana, not last question at all, but last big one is, and we've talked about this, but I just want to hear you say some more about it. Lots of law firms out there. I think one time I was going to, my background is headhunting, recruiting, placement, and one time I said, well, I'm going to specialize in the legal market in Omaha, Nebraska, and placing paralegals or maybe attorneys, things like that. And I counted up, this is back in the Yellow Pages days, I think I counted 438 attorney firms in Omaha, Nebraska. Now, most of those are one-horse people, of course, one-horse shows and so on. But how in the world, I mean, I'm sure everywhere you go, there are a lot of attorneys. How does Goosmann Law Firm differentiate itself from all the rest? And you've talked about it, but that in particular, from a marketing standpoint, from a practice standpoint, how do you differentiate yourself?
Well, first of all, on the client side, when we're working with a client, we like to partner with that client. And when I say that, I mean that we like to get to know their goals. What are their goals and how can we help them accomplish those? And then when they hire the Goosmann firm, they're not hiring just one attorney, they're hiring a whole team of attorneys. So we're like their own legal department. Most small businesses don't have their own in-house counsel.
Right.
And as a result, we serve that role for them. And we have different attorneys with different areas of focus. And so if they have a real estate matter, one team member might be working on that, but if it's an employment issue, another team member might be working on that. As a result, we're different because we really function as a team. Okay. And when we're able to function as a team, we're very responsive to that client and we're accessible. And the other thing is we're approachable. Okay. I think when people read our website and they get to know us, we're real people, we speak in plain English, and we can really help them advance the ball because they're not afraid to pick up the phone and give us a call.
Well, and you're walking your talk. When we talked about this already, when you said the idea of, what's the difference between litigation and a dispute? Well, nothing other than the legal fancy.
Right.
But you're approachable, and you really do. And so it seems like if I'm a small business and I can talk to John Doe or Jane Doe, who's one attorney or maybe part of a 3 or 4 person firm, or I can talk to y'all. I'm not from the South, but your firm, and I get what?
You get a really deep bench of attorneys that are able to help you with those various issues. So as a small business owner, you're going to encounter a lot of different areas of law, and you're not going to know the difference between them.
Right.
But if you have somebody on the team that you've hired that has a focus on able to help you with the trademark, for example, and then somebody else is able to do that contract dispute for you, you're not going to have to switch around, but you're going to get the right person for that particular issue.
Well, and that's nice. I like the word bench.
Yes.
A lot of us have sports backgrounds, and the deeper the bench, the better, because you have just all the resources it brings. And it doesn't really cost me any more.
It doesn't. It's actually more efficient.
Well, yeah, and so, I can get to the point faster and actually save me more.
And when we're able to get work done quickly for a client, it's amazing. A lot of times attorneys, they want to kind of hoard their work and not let anybody else work on it.
Yeah, I've seen that.
We have more of a team approach where if somebody's workload's a little lower because they just resolved a dispute, for example, they're able to pick something up and we crank it out quicker for the client.
Sure.
It's a win-win. The other piece on what differentiates us is we do run the firm like a business.
Yeah.
So I'm actually a
talk about that.
CEO, and we have a team of executives that help support the business. So rather than the attorneys wearing all the hats, we recognize that not everything is our strength either. So we have a chief operating officer, we have a marketing director, finance manager, HR person, we have IT executives on our firm. So we have even a leadership component in our executive team. So
you've got IT, HR, leadership, marketing, all in your firm.
Operations, all in our firm, a team of executives. That way the lawyers can do what they're best at. And we really live that strengths-based model with keeping people in their zone and in their strengths.
Entrepreneurs, you tell me, she just spoke some gold here. Not everything is our strength. And how does that apply to you? It certainly applies to me. I have many weaknesses and need to, just lately I'm starting to get more and more involved with having other people be involved in the areas I'm weak at, which are too many. and we all need that bolstering. But I think your firm is 10 years old?
It is, yes.
And you've gone from
1 to 60.
To 60 in 10 years. That's because I would contend that you recognize early on not everything is your strength.
And we'll outsource it too. So not everybody that's on our team is in-house.
Right.
We have outside consultants too to help us accomplish our various tasks, and we're really strategic with that, and also have a business plan.
Okay.
We have a 10-year plan, 5-year, and we break it down. We use traction within the Goosmann law firm,
Okay.
and we're a traction-based business. So
What does that mean?
we have an entrepreneurial operating system. So every Monday we have our power hour, and then every quarter we have a reset on what are our critical sprints.
Wow.
There's a book by Workbench, and he wrote the book Traction, and that's the tools that we use to actually run the firm.
Awesome. Well, that's just, I mean, I'm overwhelmed. You just bring so many, you run it like a business, and that's rare, because I've known many attorneys and who are, run it like a 1 or 2 person law firm or a 10-person law firm, who have the silos and don't have all the things going on that you do. This kind of leads into my next question, which is, I mean, where did you come up with this savvy? I mean, you didn't just wake up one day and say, we need to run our business, or I'm going to start a law firm, I'm going to run it like a business. Where does this come from? Tell us, bring us back. When did you decide you were going to be an attorney, and take us back to that little girl litigating her pillowcase or whatever?
Absolutely, and in my book that's coming out that we'll talk about, I have the first step of the system is ready, and I've been getting ready for a long time. And part of that was I had parents that were very entrepreneurial as well, and I grew up in an entrepreneurial household. My dad was a farmer, but very much an entrepreneurial farmer.
Okay.
He'd put on his big deal boots, and he'd run his team, and I would see those various things at a young age.
Yeah.
He would tell me to, work hard for yourself and get a good education.
Okay.
So I did. I went to the University of Nebraska in Lincoln, and I was part of the business college, and I took a lot of their entrepreneurship classes.
Okay.
When they said form a company, that's really what said, how do you do that to me?
Yeah.
And that's kind of what drove me to go to law school, was how do you
What's
do
behind
these
forming
different
a company?
things? Exactly, and getting that really strong foundation.
Interesting.
Once I got into law school, I'm like, oh, this law side is
So
fun.
you're a senior in college, undergrad, and they said form a company in one of your classes or something like that?
Yes.
And you said, what's behind it? So that's when the spark hit that you wanted to
go to law school.
Go to law school, okay.
Absolutely. And so it was really the business side.
What was your major?
I was a management major.
Management, okay. Good generic one.
Yeah, management, minor in finance.
Sure,
so
okay.
Absolutely.
And applied to several law schools or not? Or?
I did, and I went to Creighton. They offered me a full academic scholarship.
Wow. Okay.
And they had a wonderful program, and I was excited to get to go to Creighton.
Yeah.
And they really provided a wonderful foundation too.
Yeah.
An excellent school.
Highly reputed school, you bet.
Absolutely.
You bet. And so, you got your degree, Creighton, your law degree, JD, and what happened next?
Well, that's where I kind of fell in love with the practice of law, and I realized that practicing law is actually really fun, and that's where you get exposure to so many different businesses too. If I'm able to help a different business owner, I'm not just working in one business of my own. Yeah. I get to be a part of a lot of different deals.
Not doing divorce work over and over and over and over, something like that. So
exactly.
It's interesting. So you
had that business focus, but then I had the law background and really the passion for the law too.
Oh.
And it took me a while. After I got out of school, I was an associate at a big firm and practiced law and
Omaha or somewhere else?
Back in Sioux City, where my husband was from. Yeah, and that's what brought me back there. I got married to Chad and practiced at a firm and really learned how to be an attorney.
Right.
And eventually those two intersected, right? That entrepreneur in me came back out, and 10 years ago I started the Goosmann law firm.
And how long were you an attorney as an employee before you started your own venture?
7 years.
7, okay. Well, a lot of our, that's where a lot of our viewers are, Jeana, is they're wondering, how do I get to my own business? I mean, what's the next step? Tell us about the last couple of years, while you were an employee, while you were leaning toward launching your own thing. Tell us about that build up, that ramp up.
Yeah, that ramp up, I think it's about building your skill set in order to really have the expertise or the background and experience that you need to have. So I honed my craft first, right? Worked on really becoming a good attorney before I could lead a business of other attorneys. Yes,
well, but you hadn't done. Well, in your 7 years, were you a manager of any other attorneys or anything like that?
I was not. So some of my leadership came.
Like you say, it was siloed.
Yeah,
probably.
when some of my leadership came from when I was in undergrad, I was in the Chancellor's Leadership class, and I
Okay.
got a lot of exposure to different things
Okay.
like StrengthsFinder.
Okay.
And so some of those tools that I picked up at an early age, I still use today.
Sure.
Writing down my goals,
Okay.
making sure that those are clear. A lot of the common business principles that you hear about, but
Yeah.
what I have found the differentiator is in actually doing them.
Well, that's the key. I mean, they say most people don't have goals written down at all.
Right.
And then those who do have it written down are so much more likely to make something happen. And what you just said, actually doing something on making that next step happen is really key, isn't it?
It is, and the activator strength I have has really been one of my keys to success. It's,
Right.
We try different things, we know where we're going, we make a plan for it, and if it doesn't work out, you shift and you pivot and you go in a different direction.
Sure. It's just on that pivot is a key word.
It really is.
In small business. In fact, that leads to another question. Tell us about speed bumps along the way. I mean, you've told us how you got to the launch point. You didn't always have 60 employees. You didn't always have 3 locations. What speed bumps have you hit along the way, and how have you overcome them?
I really believe in that philosophy that things work out best for those that make the best of things.
Okay.
Because you can't foresee all of those different speed bumps.
No.
You might have a big client that doesn't pay you. And
No.
how are you going to deal with that situation, right?
Yeah,
And how are you going to overcome that? You might have a key employee or 2 that leave you. And what are you going to do in
Take
that
some
circumstance?
clients with them or something.
Exactly. All those different things. You might be planning on winning a pitch and you don't come out with it. And so you have to constantly reinvent yourself and get back up and be the leader that the rest of your team needs you to be. And I think what a lot of people might not realize is the self-sacrifice that comes with that.
Oh, they don't. I don't think people see that behind the scenes, do they?
Exactly.
It kind of goes. It reminds me of it's not how far you fall, but how high you bounce. You got to keep dusting yourself off, right?
You do, and it takes a lot of self-sacrifice. And if you're going to open a new location, I've learned there too. My first time I tried to open a new location, I did it with 1 employee, and I didn't invest enough in it.
Okay.
And so then when I decided to go back after it, I had to go all in.
Oh yeah.
And when I went all in on it, that took a lot of self-sacrifice and financial commitment too.
Yeah.
And as a result, it's been really successful. But
Interesting model. It makes sense. I mean, you put a lone wolf out there, they're feeling kind of lone wolf because you can't hold their hand all day, right?
Right.
And so you went in with the whole convenience store. You put the gas pumps out there, the candy bars, and everything else.
Exactly.
Interesting. Well, you've learned a lot along the way, I'm sure. So
I have.
That's terrific. Well, as we wrap up, Jeana, please tell our listeners. Our listeners are people who want to form their own company or who have formed their own company but want to take it to the next level. Obviously, 60 employees, 10 years, you've taken things to the next level. Before I ask that, what's next for the Goosmann Law Firm?
We're really working on stronger. That's our theme for this next year, is becoming as efficient and effective as we can, both internally for our team as well as for our clients. We have some unique things that we do to partner with our clients using technology, and I'll give you a quick example if I can. We have one client that has a lot of independent contractors.
Okay.
And so we formed a LLC formation program for them that we use. When they're onboarding those independent contractors, they can form their company, and they partner with us in order to make that happen.
Interesting.
As a result, we form about 1,000 LLCs for that client
Wow.
each year.
Interesting concept.
Yeah, so we're really focused going forward on stronger and how can we be of even better value and very innovative and creative for those clients.
Do you see more locations in your future?
For the next few years, we're really going to hang tight in Omaha, Sioux City, and Sioux Falls.
Well, you got a lot of people there.
We
so,
do. We have a lot of people here, but who knows what the future holds after that.
30 seconds. Tell us about your book and what advice you have for those startup entrepreneurs.
You bet. So my book is Worth It, and it's going to launch on August 23rd at the leadership conference that we're hosting called Be Worth It here in Omaha. The website is beworthit.com, and in my book, you can learn my leadership system, Ready, Execute, Deliver.
Ready, execute, deliver. Thank you so much for coming. I've enjoyed it.
Thank
We'll
you.
talk to you soon.
Sounds great.
And until next week, please go out there and grow something.